Hello everybody, it's foofootoo here, and today I'm so excited to talk to you about echoed voice. This is my favourite gimmick in the entirety of Pokemon, and I am so happy to be bringing it back to my channel. I have uploaded this before, but it was a while ago, so some of you who are new to the channel, you may not know about this. My channel has grown a lot since the last time that I uploaded with it. It's just so fun, and I feel like there are a lot of people who don't know about it. Not only that, there are some new toys to play around with in Generation 7, so I'll go through those in a bit. What I'm going to talk about is first, very briefly, what echoed voice is, then show you some replays of it absolutely decimating some real opponents. At first, I'm just going to show you me playing against myself to explain what echoed voice is. And then at the end, I'll go through a team that you can use if you want to try it out. It's an amazing gimmick. It actually works. It's definitely got the surprise factor, so please check it out. So first off, what is echoed voice? Well, it's a relatively weak normal type move, but if used consecutively, it gains power. It starts at base 40 power, gains 40 power each turn when you use it consecutively to a max power of 200. So in context, that's more powerful than most Z moves, so it's like getting a Z move off consecutively. And the chain doesn't end when you hit 200, it continues if you continue using echoed voice. What a lot of people don't know is that if you get to use echoed voice every turn, it doesn't really matter what happens, you will always be able to increase the power. So as you see here, my Noctowl is going to use another echoed voice. It does double the damage of the previous turn and it will get knocked out. But my next Pokemon, which is going to be my Meloetta, can come in and pick up the chain. Because I used echoed voice last turn, I can still use echoed voice this turn, and it continues the chain. It will now be base 120 power after only 3 turns, which is an incredibly powerful move, which is easily able to take out the Swampert. So it doesn't matter that my Pokemon fainted, it doesn't matter if the opponent uses Protect, and it doesn't matter if the opponent is immune. If you're using echoed voice, the chain will be building. So I wanted to demonstrate this right here. So we're going for echoed voice even though the opponent is immune, and I just want to show you how that works. Now, why this is all important is you can make an entire team based off echoed voice, because you can pick up the chain and all your Pokemon can continue that, and you just are meant to batter the opponent into submission. So here you can see that I'm bringing in my Exploud, a really great Pokemon for echoed voice teams because it does have the scrappy ability. Now, my Bayonet is going to use Protect. Despite the previous echoed voices being, despite the immunity to the previous echoed voices, and despite a Protect that last turn, you can see here that Exploud's echoed voice is now at the max 200 power, and it can take out Bayonet. That is so cool, and I absolutely love this gimmick. I've come up with a Smogon RU team, which I am going to show you some replays of in a second. I hope you do enjoy it. These were against real opponents that really lost to this team. I had 8 matches and won all of them because I don't think anyone expects anyone to go in this hard with a gimmick. So I hope you enjoy these replays, and I'll go over the team at the end.
great time.
It was at this moment he knew.
I very much hope that you enjoyed seeing some echoed voice destruction. So I'll just do a little bit of an explanation about the team. The most important thing is speed, because if your opponent outspeeds you and knocks you out, your echoed voice chain is broken. So Smeargle is a very important Pokemon in order to get up Sticky Web so that you can outspeed the opponent. It also has Stealth Rock, and you can start your echoed voice chain early with this Pokemon. It doesn't hit very hard, but it doesn't matter because you're boosting up the echoed voice for your following Pokemon. Then we've got Pokemon to try and take out ghost types, so that's Exploud and also Swellow. These two are really important. Don't let them both go down before you've taken out the ghost types, because they have the scrappy ability to be able to hit ghost types. They also both have Boom Burst, so if your chain does break, they've got an immediate power move to combat the opponent with, which is great. And also they both have fire coverage for steel types. This guy has Surf to clear out the rock types too, so that's pretty nice. We've then got Noctowl here. Noctowl is neat on this team because you may struggle with rock and steel types that resist the normal type moves, but Noctowl has Tinted Lens. And what's really cool this generation is it got a buff to its special attack. It used to be base 76, now it's base 86. Not a huge difference, but it is definitely more viable now, and it gets Hurricane, which means that it has an immediate power move which it lacked previously. So that's nice. I'm very happy to use Noctowl because it's one of my favorite Pokemon. So very glad that it's on the team. We then have some power. So we've got Refrigerate Aurorus. This thing hits very hard. Its Refrigerate ability gives its echoed voice a 1.2 times boost in power and turns it into an ice type move, so it gets stab on that. Unfortunately, still resisted by steel types, but rock types and ghost types will be hit by it, and you'll get some super effective hits against anything weak to ice. So that's really neat. It gets some nice coverage move with the ice type moves as well. So that's really nice. And the last Pokemon is going to be Meloetta. This thing is just very powerful with the echoed voice. It's a normal type, but it does have that base 128 special attack stat, so it hits very hard, and it's got some neat tricks to take on special walls which you would otherwise struggle with this team, because you've got Psyshock that hits their physical defense, not special defense, and you've got Trick to cripple walls so that they can't keep recovering on you. So that's really nice. The last move here, Shadow Ball, I've put to hit ghost types. You could have Focused Blast or something else there. But what's really important to note is that 4 out of 6 members of this team have the Choice Scarf. I've said how important speed is, and it really is important. If this allows you to speed every Pokemon in the opponent's team, you will always have a base 200 power echoed voice, and that is just so hard to stop. Even with special walls, you will be doing way too much damage most of the time for them to be able to cope. So that is really important, to be able to outspeed so that your chain isn't broken. The only offensive Pokemon on this team that doesn't have the Choice Scarf is Swellow, and Swellow, I really want to sing its praises right now. Previously, it only had a base 50 special attack stat, so I hadn't really considered it for these teams, but that got boosted to base 75 in Gen 7. It was a huge special attack boost, and it has a scrappy ability. And it's so fast, so it can hold the Choice Specs. So this is actually the second fastest member on the team after Meloetta, and it's actually the most powerful member of the team thanks to the Choice Specs, and nothing is immune to its echoed voice. So that means that you're hitting all the ghost types too. This thing is definitely the MVP of teams now. It is the frailest members, so you need to watch out about that. In fact, the rest of the members all have HP stats of 100 or above, which is crazy, and so they're quite bulky, but this thing is very frail, but it hits the hardest. So this thing I love, and that's why I wanted to do a refresher video on echoed voice, because I wanted to point out how good Swellow is now, and I would always use it on an echoed voice team. Also, Noctowl got that boost as well, so I'm really happy to be able to use these two. Very good. Just wanted to go over, if you want to use echoed voice in different tiers, I don't want to not point out these Pokemon. So you've got some Megas with Pixelate. They are really, really powerful, but they aren't the fastest because they can't hold the Choice Scarf. Mega Gardevoir is definitely the better of the two out of Altaria and Gardevoir. It's got some good coverage there as well. Psyshock for the special walls, Focus Blast for the steel types, so consider that. Or you could go Sylveon with the Pixelate. It can hold the Choice Scarf, so it's faster than the other two, and actually about as powerful as Altaria. So this is probably a very good option if you don't want to be going with these two. Then also you need to consider priority. Even if they're slower, it doesn't matter. If they've got priority and take you out before you can use echoed voice on a turn, then you aren't going to keep your chain. Your chain will be broken. The main ones are Bullet Punch and Ice Shard that I would worry about, because I've got quite a lot of birds, and then if you have a Fairy and Aurorus, Bullet Punch is a big problem. These two resist both of those at least on the first turn, so that's really great. Greninja is Protean, so it can get Stab, Echoed Voice. Hidden Power Fire there is to clear out the Steel types that might be Bullet Punching you, or the Ice types that might be Ice Sharding you. Hydro Pump is for the Rock types, and Dark Pulse for the Ghosts, so that's pretty neat. Pyroar, I went with Choice Specs. They could both be Choice Specs, to be fair, because they are fast enough. Even though it's only just over base 100, I'd say Choice Specs is probably alright with this guy. And yeah, the Stab Fire Blast really good for clearing out Steel types too. The last one I just want to draw attention to, although I can't advise it because it is too much of a gimmick for me these days. I used to use it back in the day, but that is Copycat Echoed Voice Liepard. So if you get an Echoed Voice kill with this thing, or if your Pokemon use it last turn, then you can actually come in and Copycat Echoed Voice to get Prankster Copycat Echoed Voice, your priority Echoed Voice right there. The issue is Liepard is not the strongest Pokemon with a base 88 special attack, and it's not normal type, so it's not getting Stab on Echoed Voice. So it's really not that powerful. You need to bear that in mind, but it's just a cool little trick to try if you really enjoy this, which I do. I really enjoy Echoed Voice. There is nothing more satisfying in the game. It's just going in really hard with the gimmicks. Definitely give it a go. I hope I've inspired some of you to give it a go. If you do, please let me know in the comment section, because I would love to hear of you using it. I'd love to see if you can get any wins, catch anyone off guard. I would love to hear that. But that's going to be all for today. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.